Hi, this is Farrell. Welcome to the video. This is page 15, issue 2 of Robot Todd. You can see I did a little thumbnail there this time, and that on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side too. You can see the initial little, I think I actually did the bigger drawing first and then did the one on the right-hand side. It's smaller but a little more detailed. And then you can see there, made manifest in the pencils. I didn't do the initial pencils, a video of the initial pencils first. I just wanted to start drawing, so missed that part. But here you can see me kind of refining pencils. I'm flipping through the book here, and actually set the clock up there on that first one. But yeah, I just use like an automatic pencil, and here I'm kind of going over the lettering. I think originally I just had it to where I just wanted to show that Todd was being swallowed by this guy, and had a little cutaway view there, like an expanded of like he's in the stomach going, you can see the last page on the left there where he got swallowed. But I thought it might be nice to kind of have more of his Robot Todd's voice present in the story. So I'm trying to think of some dialogue that I could add about him like trying to talk to the whale shark thing that swallowed him up. And I got the idea, I'll show you a little later, like a thumbnail for the next page. I was trying to think of a way, because initially I had him sort of being attacked by this guy, like the things in the stomach, these little amoeba things coming at Todd, and, it's kind of swallowing him up and kind of maybe like damaging him or something, and he had to like zap them off. But then I thought, as I was writing this, like him talking to this fish, like his sensors being like, oh, I see him inside of a big fish, and then him trying to like communicate with the thing, it seems kind of more in line with his spirit, or like the feeling that I wanted for Todd's personality to have, rather than just like fighting things, sort of him like accepting, oh, this is just like a creature that, is just kind of sees me as like a, some like a thing to eat. But then when he realizes like, oh, I'm like an intelligent being, and this is probably like an intelligent being, like him actually trying to communicate with it. So I thought it would be nice, like on this page, for him to like, maybe he's being attacked, and then you can see the thumbnail I had, maybe like an idea for like the next page, of him like, hey, can you hear me? And then he's like, on the next page, he's like, I can hear you. I can hear your heart beating, and like blood going through your veins and all this. I haven't completely worked out the next page. I have it written down in the notes app. Usually how I make these comic pages, I have the whole bunch of, here I did a little screenshot there of the ink that I use. It's all in the description too. If you go on the YouTube page, you can see in the description like all the materials that I use. And it's Dr. Martin's Black Star ink, and I usually use the matte stuff instead of high carb, just because I don't like the shininess. But it seems like if I keep it light, just kind of one layer of the black, it doesn't do a shiny thing as much. Doesn't have the shiny effect as much, but the matte's a little better for that, rather than having like the sheen of the high carb. And you can see I added like an ink wash, where I just kind of watered down some of the ink and did a little wash for some of the shadows. And then I went in with these watercolors here, and I used the same brush for the watercolors and the inks. I don't know if that's like the best method, but it's just the easiest for me. Some people might say like, oh, you have to have a separate brush for your watercolors and your inks, but I try to just keep it clean. Every time I use it, I wash it out with soap and get all the ink out of there with my thumb. I should do like a video on like how I clean my brushes and how I make these videos even. I thought about doing it this time, but then it just got to be too much work. So I might do a video in the future on like how I actually make these on my iPhone. I should be using my computer, but it's just easier for me to use my phone and do this. I don't have like a microphone or anything on my computer. I have to like install one, and it's just, I just rather just, I like more of the immediacy. I say immediacy, but these things actually take me quite a while to do. It's like almost like a day's worth of work all put together. But yeah, here you can see that I've just been adding layers. I did, but the background first. Well, first I penciled it, obviously, and then I used the Faber-Castell Pitt pen to do the inking and the lettering. And I usually started with the lettering, and then I go to I just ink all the main characters. And so I inked the, Todd, went over all the pencil lines with the pen, and then inked over the, whale shark critter there, and, did the lettering and all that stuff with the pen. And then I, added some ink washes, and then went in with these watercolors. And it seems like this is the majority of the time on this was spent doing these washes and little details, because there's a lot of detail on this page compared to some of the other pages where I had this sort of cityscape thing. And I guess the biggest challenge on this page for me was making the fish creature feel like it was in the same environment, that it was like in this underwater environment. Because like at this point right here, I feel like it pops so much that it doesn't really, it almost feels like it's floating on the surface of the page, even though I have some of those like building ruins in the foreground, kind of in front of the whale shark creature. I still felt like it was just sort of disjointed, that it didn't really fit in the, in the environment, so I tried a couple of different things. I tried using some opaque white to kind of go over the lines that I made and kind of make it look like there's sort of like waves coming across it, or, just like the sea detritus kind of sort of going in front of it. But the thing that I think helped the most was, you see a little later, I just did more rendering on the creature. Like I kind of tried to round the form a little, because it just feels kind of a little flat here, even though I tried to put some shadows on the bottom. Felt like the main thing that helped was, going over with the same blue that I used with the water, and then really trying to round out the shape of the, make it feel like a cylinder. So I added, kind of more shadows, more, try to give it more depth, and try to make the mouth of the creature resemble the previous page, the mouth on the previous page. So then I started working on the interior, and at first the panel on the left, on the bottom on the left, it just felt kind of like a mess. Like when I was first doing it, I just sort of like, I had an idea from the pencils that I wanted to feel like there's like depth to it, like it's receding back, and Robot Todd's kind of being like sluiced through this tube thing. And at first when I did it, I was just like, I don't know, it looks like a mess. And then I went away from it and came back to it and like, oh, that doesn't look so bad. I kind of get what I'm going for there. So it took several sessions of me kind of adding detail and, adding form and trying to get the lines, a little crisper around certain things, and adding depth. And even the buildings in the foreground, I tried to darken those up a little more to make it feel like the guy's sort of behind them a little more, rather than being all the same tone. The interiors there, I wanted it to, because when he had the mouth open on the previous page, there was like a pink, a pinkness to it, the color. I've used pink, basically, some kind of like purple pink thing. It was like a mixture of alizarin crimson and these blues. These I have them in the description of the what kind of blue it is, but it's an intense liquid watercolor for the blue, and then I dilute a little bit with water. So yeah, and I wanted the interiors to feel like, we're all pink on the inside kind of deal, where it's like, the interiors, once you turn the lights on, he projects this light out to like, see where he's at, even though it doesn't make sense really, but, it's comics. So it's like his sensors probably could detect where he's at in the space, like even the fact that he's able to tell where he is. I just wanted the reader to be able to see where he was. So, I had him turn the lights on, and I thought the pink was like a nice contrast to the blue that I've been doing for so long, for so many pages. I've had this like kind of blue color. I thought it was like a nice contrast for him to be like, oh, now he's in sort of like in a pink environment. And I did here I'm kind of refining the buildings, you can see, and then refining the panel on the left. But then the one on the right, I just felt like it kind of all sort of looked the same. The jellyfish thing that were attacking him, these like amoeba deals. So I darkened the background a little bit and tried to darken some of the jellyfish in the foreground, some of the stuff in the background, and then that's the end. That's the finished result, or at least that's what I want to stop working on it at this point. I feel like that's done. Thanks for watching this video. I have a Patreon. Check it out. Bye.